talk about how to cut these iron spindles to the right length. We need to cut them at 30 3/4. We already determined that. So we need to figure out how much we need to cut off the top and how much we need to cut off the bottom. They're not centered. They're 44 inches long, and they have this round nub on the top, which we don't use. We're going to cut that off. From here to the center of this knuckle is 17 inches, which means if this spindle were 34 inches long, that this would be in the center. So we use that as our starting point. So kind of show you, I want to come in closer. So you can see we're 17 inches. So that means if this spindle were 34 inches long, that would be in the center. We want to keep the knuckle in the center, but our spindles are only 30 3/4. So if my spindle were 30 3/4 long, so mark right here. You can see this is our difference. We got 3 1/4 of an inch of difference from what the center is to what we're going to cut it. So we need to divide that in half. Cut half of that off the top and half of that on the bottom. So if I have 3 1/4, I need to cut 1 5/8 off the top and then 1 5/8 off the bottom. So I'm going to mark here 1 5/8. Keep in mind I'm talking about a hypothetical 34-inch spindle. Obviously it's longer than that. But if it were 34, that would put this in the center. So I've marked my 1 5/8 here at the top. And this base has all these measurements on it. So we have our portable metal cutting bandsaw here, and we have all of our dimensions. And so we'll cut one end of this, and then we'll flip it over, and we'll just stick it at 30 3/4, and it will be the right dimension. So I'll show you how we do that. So if you want to come to this side, these porta bands don't have a lock anymore on the trigger. So what we've done in this base is done a little slide here. So when we pull the trigger, that will keep the bandsaw running. Now we have our first cut. If you want to come look at this table, we have all of our dimensions here. So now we need to cut it 30 3/4 long. So I'll just flip this end over and I'll come here to 30 3/4. And then we'll cut the bottom off, and that will give my spindle the right length. So we'll do that. Now we should be centered. From this end we have 15 1/4. From this end we have 15 3/8. So we're off by a 1/16 one way. Close enough that will work. So that's how you would cut all of your spindles. Figure out the center. We have double knuckles. It will be the same way. So we're going to cut that 1 5/8 off the top. What we can do now is, now that we know that works, here's our 1 5/8. I'm going to put a little mark down here so that I know that's where my first cut is. So I don't have to measure any more spindles. I'm going to put this end on this mark, cut the top off, then I'll flip it over, cut it to 30 3/4. I'll show you one more time. Here's my mark. See, same length spindles, everything centered. That's how you cut your spindles.